All right, let's talk about what we're seeing, particularly EABL, because there's been a lot of talk regarding their recent negotiations with SAB on buying back a stake. The share price has been really under pressure, I think, because of these. And EABL has already said that going forward, they expect to see accounting losses. Just explain to us what exactly has been going on with regards to EABL and SAB, and what sort of company we're going to be looking at going forward.
Basically, what has been happening is they reached a stalemate in Tanzania where they decided it's time to end the marriage. And as we all know, what happens in marriages when someone files for divorce, you now have to start paying your dues or seeing who's going to go with what chunk of the assets that you hold. So basically what these guys are now doing is buying back their stake from SAB Miller, which SAB Miller will also do the same from them. The issue that comes in now for East Africa Breweries is after they buy back, that means it is going to affect their financials at the end of the day. It's really paper. It's a between books thing, so it's more of an accounting loss, not an operating loss. Operating wise, we expect the numbers to remain, but there will be that one-off event this year, which for investors, what now investors are factoring in, EABL is not really a capital gain stock. It's more of a dividend or income stock. So once you have that one-off, you expect dividends to be squeezed a bit in the financial year 2011.
All right, let's talk about those which have been gainers in the market today, starting with Scan Group, gaining 5.6%. Now, obviously, everybody's expecting a lot of advertising spend ahead of an election year. But what about other variables like inflation, for instance, and just the ability of customers to spend on advertising, marketing and media products?
Scan Group, as much as their revenues might take a minor hit because of, like what you said, inflation, they basically have 98% of the market. So anyone who's going to advertise anyway, the little they're going to advertise, they're still going to do it with Scan Group. So you will not find a big dip in their revenues. Where you have a market, especially the telecoms who are the largest spenders in advertising, their better front is now gone to more of marketing, who can market the product better. Because they basically have the similar products now, so it's who's marketing it better. So investors are basically just pricing that in, that you will still find the marketing wars for the telecoms. The other companies might reduce spending, but they will still advertise to a certain extent to remain competitive, and the avenue to do it will be through Scan Group.
Another mover today was Sasini, up 2.3%. Now, obviously, many people were expecting that the tea and the coffee exporters should do well on a weakened shilling. But going forward with persistent drought conditions, are we likely to see agro stocks doing well?
No, not in the long run. Yes, in the short to the medium term, they might benefit because they're harvesting crops they planted earlier. But now when you have issues of your yields coming low, production yields coming reducing because of the drought, even the weak shilling will not help that much. So when now you have a drought, you have reduced production yields, you want to try and boost your production yields. What are you going to do? Start importing fertilizers, irrigation equipment. Now the weak shilling, which was their friend, will turn into a foe.
All right. Another one to look out for today is TPS, and we know that they had very good profits in the first half of the year. They'd be able to recoup some of the expenditure that they incurred by way of refurbishing their hotels within the East African region. But again, we're told the European crisis and austerity measures doesn't augur well for a company like this. We're not going to be seeing a lot of international travelers, or is this just an alarmist view?
A bit alarmist though, because the people that really travel still travel anyway. There are people that have the disposable income to travel, who even with such a crisis, they will not be squeezed that much. But what we need to look at TPS is the issue of, as much as the revenues have gone up by 42%, is it because of the weakening Kenya shilling? In terms of revenue comes in dollars, then you convert and translate in terms of reporting in Kenya shillings. What we might want to look at is their dollar-to-dollar numbers from the previous years. We remove the Kenya shilling out of the question. Recouping what they did on refurbishing, yes, because they refurbished in Kenya shillings. Revenue, most of the revenue is in dollars. So with the exchange rate, which has dropped by close to 10%, they tend to benefit.
Let's talk about that exchange rate, because obviously we know the shilling's been under pressure. The bank's been trying to just deal with the cash crunch by raising the discount window rate. Inflation is another variable. But on the good news side, we're told that remittances are up somewhere in the region of 44%. That's a major generator of forex. Has that had any impact on the shilling in recent weeks?
Remittances are normally the fourth largest generator of income, so they're still in line in the pecking order of, if the other guys are not performing, they're still a bit lower down to really have a huge impact on the Kenya shilling. Then in the current situation where there's a drought, where there's inflation is high, and times are basically hard for the general public, you'll find most of the people actually get their income from their relatives in the diaspora. So you find there might be a bit of increased sending of dollars to the country because they believe, okay, we can send dollars now, the exchange rate is low. So you find there are also Kenyans outside who are taking advantage of the weak shilling. Send the currency back now and you benefit.